let's talk about something that's really simple, but at the same time, pretty profound. We're going to explore the freedom that comes from, well, just letting go.
You know, it's a question we all bump up against, right? Why do we hold on to worries or grudges or desires long after they've clearly started to weigh us down? It almost feels instinctual. But what if there's another way? Well, it turns out an ancient wisdom tradition offers an answer, and it's not hidden away in some complex, heavy texts. Nope, it's in simple, powerful stories. The insights for this explainer come from the parables of the celebrated Thai forest master, Ajahn Chah. Just think of his stories as simple keys, each one designed to unlock a lighter way of being.
All right, our first insight really gets to the heart of the matter. So much of our suffering isn't actually caused by the world around us. It's caused by the weight we choose to carry in our own minds. Okay, so picture this. Ajahn Chah is on a quiet walk through the forest with his students, and they come across this absolutely enormous boulder just sitting right there on the path. He stops and he asks them this deceptively simple question. Now, to the students, the answer is just obvious. Of course it's heavy. Just look at the size of it. And this is where the brilliant twist comes in. The weight, he explains, isn't in the boulder itself. It's in the act of carrying it. The insight here is so powerful. The problem isn't the problem. The real issue is how we choose to relate to it. And this breaks it down so clearly. On one hand, a problem can just be a fact, a situation that exists, kind of like the boulder just sitting there. It's weightless. The heaviness only comes when we mentally choose to pick it up, to replay it over and over in our heads, and carry it with us. This idea of mental baggage, there's another classic story that just makes it incredibly vivid. This is the punchline from a story about two monks. One of them helps a woman cross a river, even though it breaks their monastic rule. The other one just obsesses over it for hours. You see, the first monk carried her physically for maybe a minute, but the second one was still carrying her mentally for miles down the road. It's just such a clear look at how we cling to judgments. So, we've looked at those internal burdens. But what about all the things we try to grab from the outside world? This next insight explores how our own desire to possess something can become its own kind of prison. Ajahn Chah explained this with the simple image of a monkey trap. And what's so clever about this trap is that it doesn't work by force. It actually uses the monkey's own desire against it. Here's how it works. There's a prize, like some fruit, offered inside a hollowed-out coconut. The monkey reaches its hand inside to grab it. It clenches its fist around the fruit, and suddenly it's trapped. The hole is big enough for an open hand, but not a closed fist. So you see, it's not the coconut trapping the monkey. It's trapped by its own clenched fist, its own refusal to let go. And of course, this isn't really about monkeys, is it? We do the exact same thing. We clench our fists around a specific job, a certain relationship, or even just an idea of how things should be. And then we get trapped, unable to move forward, all because we refuse to simply open our hand. So if clenching our fists is the trap, what's the solution? Well, it's found in this perspective that seems a little strange at first, but is actually deeply wise. When Ajahn Chah looked at a beautiful glass, he said he saw it as already broken. Now, this isn't about being pessimistic. It's a kind of radical acceptance. When you truly understand that everything is temporary, you stop clinging so tightly. That fear of loss starts to dissolve, and you're free to appreciate things fully, right now, just as they are. And when they inevitably change or disappear, well, it's not a tragedy. It's just the nature of things. You can simply say, of course. Okay, so we've seen what to let go of, internal burdens, external attachments. But how do we actually do it in the moment? This next part offers a really practical technique, the art of simply mindfully observing. Ajahn Chah called this state the one who knows. Imagine your mind is like a quiet forest pool, and all your thoughts and feelings, joy, sadness, worry, are like different animals that come to drink. Your job isn't to chase them or scare them away. It's simply to sit still and watch them come, and then, eventually, watch them go. But that's a fair question, right? Some of the animals that visit our mind feel more like predators. What do we do with those powerful, threatening emotions like anger or fear? You can't just ignore them. Ajahn Chah compared a destructive thought to having a cobra in your room. Our typical reaction is either to fight or to flee. We try to kill the cobra, suppress the thought, or we run away and avoid it. But the path of mindfulness is different. You stay in the room. You watch the cobra carefully, respecting its power, but you don't let it dictate your actions. By simply observing it without reacting, you give it the space to eventually leave on its own.
And this brings us to our final insight, the one that ties everything together. The ultimate goal here isn't just to find a temporary moment of peace, but to cultivate a state of real, lasting freedom. This distinction is so important. You can force your mind to be calm. That's like putting a heavy rock on some weeds. Sure, it works for a while, but the roots are still there. The moment you stop concentrating, they pop right back up. True wisdom is about actually uprooting the cause of the suffering so it can't grow back. And this brings us to the final and maybe most crucial point. It's one thing to read the label on a medicine bottle, to understand all these ideas intellectually, but understanding isn't enough. To get better, you have to actually drink the medicine. You have to put it into practice.
And that is the real takeaway here. These stories aren't just quaint little folktales. They are direct, practical instructions for how to suffer less and how to live with more ease and genuine appreciation. So I'll leave you with this question. Think about the burdens you're carrying right now, the worries, the resentments, the attachments. Which one of them is just a boulder sitting on the ground waiting for you to simply walk away? Which one will you choose to finally set down today?